Today's podcast is brought to you by Body Armor. DrinkBodyArmor.com. Only you can be better.
Hello, I'm Baker Mayfield.
I'm Anthony Russo.
I'm Donovan Mitchell.
I'm Diana Taurasi.
I'm Ryan Blaney.
And I have something to confess.
I had a formidable Beanie Baby collection.
I used to say YOLO a lot.
I paid a lot of money for ringtones.
I had a sick flowing mullet one time.
My Cabbage Patch Kid's name was Dolores.
I used to rock bleached tips.
I used to rank my friends on MySpace.
I rented movies at Blockbuster.
I used to wear jorts. That's right, jean shorts.
I used to drink Gatorade.
Yeah, I used to drink Gatorade.
We all used to drink it.
It was the only sports drink out there.
Now there's Body Armor.
I drink Body Armor now.
I drink Body Armor now.
I'm Team Body Armor now.
You're listening to EPPN's Today with DW Sports Edition with DW, Mr. Tom Greer, and Snacks.
Welcome, everybody, to the Tuesday night edition of Today with DW. It is the sports edition. What's going on, everyone?
Hola, didn't realize I had my mic muted.
Again, that's 2 weeks in a row. 2 weeks in a row.
Your mic was muted again?
Absolutely.
Oh, okay.
Welcome, Mr. Tom Greer.
Hello.
Snacks.
Good morning.
Snacks, did you put the new camera in place?
No, not yet. I have not had time. I have not had time.
That's why you call me over to your house for me to do it for you.
No, I can do it. It's just it's been crazy with winter sports and everybody trying to get the high school sports going again up here. It's just been nuts.
We'll talk about that more down as we obviously it is the sports edition, but we're going to talk more about the local end of that, especially once you get closer with your podcast. It's also going to be focusing on local sports, but there seems to be some uproar on as far as close contact sports and people saying this. It's getting to the point. It's funny. I'm seeing more. How do I want to put this? More debate about local sports than professional sports. It really seems to be like, well, if they can go to school, then they should play. Well, if they're remote schooling, then they shouldn't play. It seems to be people are getting heated right now. And obviously sports is a very important part of school. I mean, without athletics and, after school programs, it gets a little difficult. So I can understand it, but the people that I see making comments and you listening might be one of those people. I'm sorry, but it is what it is. You're not informed. I don't know. It just makes me really irritated with some of the comments. We get very ignorant comments coming on board.
It's the variables. It's the what. Yeah. So if the kid gets it, then he takes it back, and there's a teacher in school, and they get it, and things like that. It's just there's too many variables. But other people are doing it. You got to take the shot. You got to not the shot, but you got to take the opportunity and say, okay, listen, this is what we're going to do, and then let's see where it goes. I mean, it's if somebody gets it, then you got to shut it down. But I mean,
isn't that the theme of all this though? Like the theme of this after a while was obviously, like at the start of the pandemic, like we're almost at a year since the lockdown happened. It was just trying to manage everything. Now, isn't it more of trying to just figure out like how to just navigate through it? Like, hasn't that just been the message for a while now?
It's harder to navigate through it because in a school setting, because you've got kids that are going to school. Like right now, we just went through and got, we had a school vacation, and people went away. Yeah. They went to Florida. They went here, there, and then they came back. And, if one of those kids went down there and they came back and they're playing a sport, but say they didn't tell anybody they went anywhere, or they didn't quarantine, they're not going to be able to quarantine. If they bring their sport back, then they got to sit out for 2 weeks.
That's understandable.
And they don't have enough practices to play. So it's trying to bring too many sports into play. So like right now they're talking about winter 1, winter 2, or fall 1, fall 2. So they'll have football, volleyball, whatever. We'll play for a month. So you're going to play 4 or 5 games, and then you're done. There's no championships. There's no playoffs. There's no regionals. There's nothing. You're just playing to play.
Yeah.
So and there's no reason for that, really.
Well, there is. It's what the kids need it.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, because like you said before, yeah, like you said before, Herb, like it still does wind up getting a little dicey when you don't have those after school type programs, those after school sports. You know, like it might not necessarily be like, yeah, it's not the same as playing a full season and getting to win a championship at the end of the year, but it's still, you know, an outlet for a kid or something like that, or maybe
right. It is. It's you need it. It's like I've always, you know, it's funny because I used to always tell my kids and the kids that I coach that, you know, they're like, I don't know if I'm going to play. You know, they play their junior year and they don't play their senior year. So I'm like, listen, you can't go back. You can't go back and do high school sports. And on top of that, I said, if the wool's ever pulled out from underneath you, what are you going to do? Then you don't have it.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like, it just feels like it's all come to fruition. And it's like, I feel bad for the kids, and you need something to break up the monotony of everyday life.
Yeah.
That's what we all have. We all have that.
I think my whole issue is whether it's 2022, 2023, 2024, COVID's not going away. Open up sports. People are going to get sick. We're going to get it. And just let's get it over with. That's how I feel. And whether you agree with me or not, whether our listeners are agreeing with that, we're all going to get it eventually. If we already didn't have it, I feel that I've already gotten it. So, I mean, I was sick like a dog a month and a half ago, but it's like you keep segregating and like, we're going to keep pushing it off. It's not getting any better or worse. It's still here. We need to open some things up. And I think sadly minus restaurants, I really think kids are suffering more than anybody. Adults are adults. We do what we do. We got our things going on. But when it comes to schooling, activities, I mean, social dynamic, I mean, kids aren't being social anymore. They don't have, they're going into school. Some of them are virtual. Glens Falls School District, they are doing up here in upstate New York. They are in school. They have the option to go virtual if they want to. And some parents are doing that. Some are not. But it's, the whole dynamic is we're going to be dealing with the after effects of COVID, not even the illness.
Yeah.
More so for years down the road than the illness will last. You know what I'm saying? I mean, there's social dynamics here and outcomes. And like I said, you know, sports was huge for me as a kid. I mean, it was track, it was soccer, it was cross country skiing. I don't know what I would do without having them while I was in school. I think that would drive me insane. I was not like the most popular kid, and I wasn't, very socially adept. Maybe I was a little bit more of an introvert, but I could express myself with track. I could express myself with cross country skiing and running and soccer. That's where I express myself. And that's where a lot of sports comes into play. I mean, I really think it's important. And I think sometimes, I don't know, I just feel they just need to open it up and let them go. I mean, just some of the comments and people talking. If you're going to comment about something, please be informed. That's all I'm going to say. I mean, we don't get political here, but sports locally here, I don't know how it is for you, Tom, in the Long Island area, but it's been very heated. Hank knows it's gotten very heated in the last couple of weeks. I mean, schools are against schools. One school does it, and they're only 5 miles away from the other school, and the other school can't. So it's getting very, very heated. And
that's the thing is they don't want to cross counties. They don't want to have, if the school is in one county and the other school that's usually their rival is in another county, they can't play. So you have to now they're saying that you can't do the cross county. So that's where the problem comes in. It's like in our area, you got Glens Falls. So like volleyball per se, volleyball has Glens Falls, Queensbury, and Lake George.
Right.
You have 3 schools.
Are they class C? Are they class C?
It doesn't matter. It's the play to play. Right. It's right now. It's just the play. They can't cross over on counties. So and that's the kids aren't supposed to have to cope with this. I've said that to many people. Our kids. 18-year-olds and below are not supposed to. I mean, I don't even care 20 or 19. They're not supposed to have to cope with something like this. We're older, we're adults, things like that. And, it's new for all of us. And we're trying to figure out a way to navigate through it. And it's like, yes, there are people that say, yeah, just go and do it. And then there's people that say, well, it's like, you got to pick a poison and figure out what you want to do with it.
Yeah.
The kids want to play. If the parents are willing to sign a waiver over and the kids sit, you have to explain to them what the deal is. Say, listen, you could get sick from this, and this could happen.
Yeah,
but they got to quarantine, and the kids have to unfortunately, the kids have to become adults. The kids have to sit there and say, okay, you're going to play basketball, you're going to go to practice, and you're going to come home. You're not going over to Jimmy's to go hang out and watch TV and watch movies and play video games. If you're going to do the video games, you're going to do it online.
Right.
Makes sense.
It totally makes sense. Totally makes sense. But before we get into today's show, I have a big announcement. We have a big sponsor. The announcement will be coming on Thursday, but I've been putting teasers out there, and it happened very awkwardly in a way. But you'll hear more about that Thursday. But every episode this week, we're gonna do a pop culture segment on every episode. So Tuesday through Friday, we're gonna do a pop culture segment, and because I'm hanging out with two of the guys that are pop culture guys. I mean, Tom's a pop culture guy. We should have brought Zambo on for this episode.
You should have.
Poor Zambo. I love you, Zambo. If you're listening, I love you. But you need to get your information straight. Anyway, and Snacks is a big pop culture guy. So if you have not heard one of the most watched series, well, we just lost Snacks. All right. Okay. Well, it's just me and you, Mr. Greer. So
I hope he's back. I think he'll be back.
So maybe he was concerned that he wasn't caught up on the series we're talking about, and he's like, "I'm out. I don't want to hear it. No spoilers." But anyway,
maybe.
Anyway, well, I'm sure he'll be back. Who knows what he's doing? He needs a tech guy over at his house. But we're gonna start the conversation anyway. If you have not seen, even if you're not a comic book or a Marvel or DC person, this series got a bad rap right when it first came out because it was really weird starting out, very slow and very awkward. As far as it comes out. But if you have not heard about WandaVision on Disney Plus, you're definitely living under a rock. Like I said, no matter if you are not in the Marvel or in the comic books, this series is one of the most watched series on the streaming service ever. And it keeps getting better and better. I'll be honest with you. The first 2 episodes, I was ready to give it like 4.5 DWs as I do my rating. And I'm like, you know what? This is Marvel. Marvel likes to do these twists with us. They really like to suck you in, or it's a slow start, and they're gonna amp it.
Yeah,
episode 3. Yeah, go ahead.
No, I'm saying that everybody didn't like the beginning of the season. I kind of did. I don't know. I love sitcoms. I love corny sitcoms. So I thought it was funny, and I knew that I was entertained by the episodes because they interested me because I kind of. I don't want to say I knew the story. I have no idea what's happening, but I knew for a fact that it was going to pick up. So I thought it was an interesting, start. I thought I know people hated it, but I thought it was fun. I enjoyed them.
Did you not charge your laptop, Hank?
No, all of a sudden it says now it's installing an update. I canceled it.
Anyway, to catch you up really quick, we're talking WandaVision. You're caught up, right, on the episodes?
Yes, I am.
Okay. See if you can turn up your volume on there. You're a little low, Hank. If you guys have not caught up to the latest episode, spoiler alert, it's been out for a week. Well, it's been out since Friday. So we're going to dive into it because I don't get to talk pop culture with these two guys much. I get to listen to Tom on Grindhouse Radio and yell at, you know what? I need foam bricks. Like when my dad used to have foam bricks when he's watching the Giants and they're getting their ass beat, he would throw them at the TV. I need some foam bricks to throw at my computer screen when I hear Zambo talking about some shit. That's what I need.
I will let him know that he needs to do a little more fact checking. But that's actually a good idea. I think I need those now. I think I need those for Giant games.
Yes, exactly. No, my dad used to have foam bricks because my dad had a habit of breaking a few TVs. So my stepmother bought my dad a box of foam bricks next to his lazy boy while he's drinking his beer, and he would throw them at the TV. He was like, "You son of a bitch, Eugene!" So it saved us on having new TVs.
That's a phenomenal idea. That's a phenomenal. You should take somebody. I know it's just foam bricks. Take that idea to Shark Tank.
Oh, they would have them out there though. No, you can buy them. You really can buy them. You can still buy them. So yeah, I could pattern it. But anyway, so WandaVision, I haven't been able to talk with the two of you about it this last episode. And we I don't know, on our show, on the Pop Culture Edition on Friday, obviously there was rumors out there was Agnes and it's Agatha Harkness. We kind of confirmed that as well through some of this, the comicbook.coms and the CBRs out there that are putting them out, but we confirmed it on our pop culture that this was her. But we still feel that, and again, these are spoilers. I don't think this is the major baddie. I'm still concerned about Pietro, who's the X-Men version, not the Avenger version. Is this possibly Mephisto? And what is interesting about this episode, this whole series, is that they're mixing the mutant power with magic, and you're throwing in sword. That's science. So you've got 3 elements, first time ever in the Marvel universe, mixing all 3 of them together. And I think that is really, again, Marvel knows how to do it. I mean, I am a DC guy, but Marvel really knows how to make a great story. I don't know. The leader of Sword, I'm wondering, Hank and I talked a little bit. My speculation is that because he's so concentrated on Vision, I'm wondering if he's either a life model decoy or Ultron robot. And we're going to see Ultron again.
I really think he's going to be like a Sentinel, like what we were talking about there.
Like Nimrod. Nimrod. Yeah. Okay.
Because he's concentrated on one thing. That's Vision.
Well, I think because he wanted to be able to take control of Vision. Well, I think he wanted to take control of Vision as well. But again, the subline is Ultron's never gone away in the comics. You think you killed him. There's Ultron 15. There's Ultron 17. There's multiple versions. So for him to really concentrate on the Vision, and then because Wanda took the body, he's really focused on that. Like he wants to take over government control of him. It could be back towards like Civil War, back when in the comics and in the movie where it's government controlled. But there's something going on. And again, Pietro, which is cool because now we have already merged the X-Men universe into the Marvel Cinematic Universe. So it's going to happen. There's going to be there. And the other speculation is who's the engineer that she called? That Monica called and said, I have a friend who can build this for me and whatever. Speculation is it's got to be Reed Richards. Doesn't have to be, but that would be the next thing. It wouldn't be Tony Stark. It would be Reed Richards, who, by the way, is also tied with Agatha Harkness because she babysat for his son for years. She taught him his powers and magical powers and whatnot. Right. So, it's going to be interesting. I mean, like I said, I think there's 2 more episodes. I think
it's 3.
Yeah, 8 and 9.
I thought it was 9. I thought it was going 10 episodes.
It may be. The last I knew, I thought it was 9, but it may be 10. And then 2 weeks after that, Falcon and Winter Soldier pop up, and that looks like that's going to be an amazing series as well.
Yeah.
I'm a big one of it. Like I like comic. Like I am a little bit of a comic book fan. Like I love all the superheroes and stuff like that. But what I love about WandaVision is it's just kind of showing me a bunch of characters that I have literally no idea about. Like I knew very little of Scarlet Witch before she showed up in the movies. I knew very little, if anything, about Vision. I honestly had no idea who Vision was when he first showed up in the movies. And then same thing, this Agatha character, I again had no idea who this is. So I think it's really just fun also for the people that are like the casual comic book or Marvel fan to just see who these different characters are. So like it gives the extra like you don't really know what's coming because I couldn't guess like as far as like trying to predict what other characters are popping in. I couldn't even give you one to be quite honest with you.
Right. No, I understand. And that's what's good. Now, Monica Rambeau, if people aren't familiar, and if you're not familiar with and if you guys are just joining us, I know this is the sports edition, but because we have this new sponsor coming in on Thursday, each episode's going to have a special pop culture segment, a non-sports segment for this episode. So if people aren't aware, Scarlet Witch is a mutant. Her father is Magneto. Her brother is Quicksilver, who's Pietro. In the Marvel U in the beginning, they were not allowed to use the word mutant in the movie cinematic universe because it was owned by Fox. Now they are slowly trying to transition that back. Now we could see Magneto, we could see Reed Richards, we could see numerous other people. The other great thing about this is, and again, this is a spoiler, Monica, as I mentioned before, she was actually Captain Marvel before Carol Danvers was Captain Marvel. She was an Avenger in a black and white outfit. She's now called Photon, and that's what they're going to call her now in this series. But she was actually Captain Marvel back the late 90s within the Avengers, before the female version of Captain Marvel. Now, Captain Marvel was back in the 70s, late 60s, early 70s, and it was Marvel and it was a man. But people who understand about Carol Danvers, she was not Captain Marvel first. And what I like about this too, if you watch in episode 6, they mention talking about Captain Marvel, and Monica's like, yeah, whatever, we're not talking about her. Like, there's already this thing going on with her going, there's something going on between Carol Danvers and Monica right now, because she's like, we're not talking about her. So there's some kind of twist there. Will we see her go into the cinematic universe with Captain Marvel? We may. The only actor that we know that's gone from big screen to small screen and back is Greg Clark, Agent Coulson. Nobody else has gone from the small screen to the big screen yet. Supposedly Matthew Cox, who is Daredevil, rumor has it he's making an appearance in the new Spider-Man movie as Matt Murdock.
I thought Coulson was
What's
in
that?
the one. I thought Coulson was in S.H.I.E.L.D.
Yes, he is. But he went from the big screen to the small screen, and now he's going back from the small screen to the big screen. We've never seen actors in the Marvel universe, cinematic universe, go from the small screen. Like, we don't see Jessica Jones, we don't see Luke Cage ever going into the big screen. Matthew Cox might be the only actor that we know that would go from the small screen back into the big screen. Usually it's the guys coming from the big screen going into the small screen universe. I'd rather see that. I'd love to see the guys from the Netflix series. Mine is John Berthal. Now, rumor has it too that John Berthal, that they're rebooting Punisher again, and it's going to be on a big screen. It's not going to be a series. So I have some quote unquote inside tidbits with that, because if people aren't familiar, John Berthal went to Skidmore College, which is only 15 minutes away from me, and we have some mutual friends, so I'm trying to get some scoop on that. So, but again, you guys should really watch WandaVision, even if you're not a Marvel fan. The series is good, and like Tom and I both said, the first 2 episodes really hard to get through. Whether you like I like the premise of, you know, the world she's creating through sitcoms, but it was really wonky.
I did not know. I'm saying I did not feel that way. I loved him. I personally loved him. Yeah.
I just felt that it was awkward, and they weren't setting it up. I don't know. By the 3rd episode, I always give an episode 3 episodes. If you don't catch me by the 3rd episode, I'm out.
Yeah, that's fair.
What are you in the dark, Hank? Do we have to change your voice?
No, Mike.
But no, I did enjoy them, Tom. It was just the fact of I didn't know where this was going, and I'm like, is this going to be how the whole entire series is going to just be a giant sitcoms? You know, but now it's getting good. And Google Agatha Harkness. Google obviously Mephisto, which seems to be a huge rumor, and that could be Pietro. Because Wanda is making a huge impact. She will be appearing in the next Doctor Strange movie, as well will Spider-Man. And Doctor Strange will be making an appearance in the new Spider-Man movie as well. So WandaVision could be what Iron Man was to the Marvel Cinematic Universe, where Iron Man set up everything. Iron Man set up the whole entire thing 15 years ago, and he is the catalyst. Wanda or Scarlet Witch could be the catalyst for this new phase of Marvel movies. So we'll see.
Could be.
We'll see. But anyway, if you're just joining us, yes, it is supposed to be the sports edition, but I don't care. It's Tuesday, and I can't talk to anybody about it's WandaVision. That's right. It's today with WandaVision. And since Lewis has been out for the last couple of weeks, I haven't been able to talk pop culture. So it is what it is. So we do have a lot to talk about in sports. Cam Newton's in the news. Tiger Woods. This is breaking news. We'll get to that in a minute.
Yeah, I watched
that. What's that?
I was watching that before I left.
Yeah, we'll get into that. So when we come back, we're going to talk a little bit about Tiger Woods. Tiger being in the woods. Is Cam Newton going to retire from football? All that and more. Should he retire? Maybe that's what we should have asked the question. Should he have retired and just walk out on a semi-high note? All that and more when we come back.
Hello, I'm Baker Mayfield.
I'm Anthony Rizzo.
I'm Donovan Mitchell.
I'm Diana Taurasi,
I'm Ryan Blaney.
and I have something to confess.
I had a formidable Beanie Baby collection.
I used to say YOLO a lot.
I paid a lot of money for ringtones.
I had a sick flowing mullet one time.
My Cabbage Patch Kid's name was Dolores.
I used to rock bleached tips.
I used to rank my friends on MySpace.
I rented movies at Blockbuster.
I used to wear jorts. That's right. Jean shorts.
I used to drink Gatorade.
Yeah, I used to drink Gatorade.
We all used to drink it.
It was the only sports drink out there.
Now there's Body Armor.
I drink Body Armor now.
I drink Body Armor now.
I'm Team Body Armor now.
Welcome, everybody, to the Tuesday Night Edition of Today with DW. It is the sports edition with Mr. Tom Greer and Snacks. If you're just joining us, you missed a good, a short pop culture edition of Today with DW, since Lewis has been out of commission and is going to be out of commission again this week. So I had to find some way to talk about something about pop culture anyway. So we're going to get right into it. Tiger Woods badly injured in car crash, seen speeding from hotel minutes from accident. This boy can't get a break sometimes. And I'll get into the article and we'll get Tom's take on this. Oh, by the way, on a side note, you need to go follow Mr. Greer. It's Mr. Greer on Instagram for his lunch break takes.
Thank you.
And by the way, I feel sad for Tom because Tom's always in his car. The other day, he's doing his lunch break takes, and it's about sports, and it's snowing like a bitch on there, and Tom's all by himself having lunch. And does anybody like Tom at his job?
Well, I'm not having lunch. I'm not having lunch in my car. I'm going to get lunch. Like I'm leaving the office to go get food. I'm just doing it in my car.
You can be honest, Tom. You can be honest with us. I'm kidding. I'm just kidding with you. But check out his lunch break takes at it's Mr. Greer on Instagram. Check him out.
Thank you.
And I love those. We should make them part of the video segments for the show. I think we should download your TikToks and put them on the show, because that would instead of the commercial break, because I think those are great. I love those. Those are awesome.
I appreciate that. Thank
welcome,
you very
Al. Welcome, Kim. Oh no, they're awesome. I think it's a shame that people go right to drugs or alcohol when an athlete is in an accident. Well, Al, let's put it this way. Before we get in the article, Tiger has gone right to drugs and alcohol in the past. So I mean, he's had problems before. So, I mean, of course you're going to assume. So this report's coming from TMZ. Tiger was staying in a hotel where a major network television show was being shot. Production sources tell TMZ when the director arrived just before 7 a.m., Tiger was driving his SUV very fast as he was leaving the property and almost hit the director's car. The director was shaken enough to tell production staff about it after he parked. A crew member who saw Tiger as he got into his SUV at the hotel tells TMZ once Tiger got in his vehicle, there was a delay in driving off and he appeared agitated and impatient. Now, this happened in 1 p.m. Law enforcement sources tell TMZ Woods was alert enough at the scene of the accident to ask first responders to have his manager pick up his stuff. He told cops, "I have not found anything illicit inside the vehicle." A photo of the crash scene appears to show blood on the driver's side by back. Now, he's not majorly injured, and literally it's a straight road. And if you look at the photos, he's like right over an embankment. Like it was not just like a minor car crash. I mean, it rolled over. Tiger was hospitalized following a bad single car accident in LA County, as they said. The vehicle was traveling northbound on Hawthorne Bound on Black Horse Road when it crashed. The vehicle sustained major damage. Driver and sole occupant was identified as obviously PGA golfer Edric Tiger Woods. Now, I mean, we don't want to assume that he's doing something, but his past dictates that he has. And again, like Al said, listen to Al, you don't want to assume it. But again, how can you not? And I think that's something with celebrities and major sports stars. If you had a bad past, that is the way people are going to jump to this. That's it. Yeah. And let's hope it's not. Let's really hope that it's not. I mean, between the hookers and some of the drugs he's done in the past and rumors of what he was doing, let's hope that he has cleaned his stuff up and he's doing well. He's he is golf. I mean, obviously we've had some great golfers in the past, but he is golf. I mean, people watch him. Even the people who don't watch golf will watch Tiger.
Yeah. He's the Tiger Woods is the guy that pulls in everybody to watch golf. Like I'm not gonna pretend like there aren't people that like are diehard golf fans and can name you every single one. But like for the most part, like the average sports fan has no idea. Like maybe knows 2 golfers and that's it. But for the most part, every single person knows Tiger Woods. You know, so it's like it is a really
like
great
Spider-Man.
Yeah, exactly. He's like the Spider-Man of golf. I don't know, but it's like he that's even wild to say. Obviously we hope that it's not like anything alcohol or drug related. I know the dude's like had an insane amount of surgeries and a lot of injuries that he's been dealing with. So, you know,
he's on pain meds right now because he's on pain meds right now because he just got out of back surgery. So
again,
could
this
that
is like
be
his
what it
4th
was?
or 5th one. It's like his 4th or 5th back surgery.
But you have a different reaction to pain meds. I mean, I've had reactions to pain meds that I've taken for, you know, when I've had surgeries and things like that. And they'll give me a med and, you know, 1 minute I'm fine for one surgery. The next thing you know, I'm taking the same pain pill. And then all of a sudden I have a reaction to it. You know, I don't remember what I took, but it was Percocet or something. And my face blew up. Looked like somebody blew up a balloon.
Oh, that's scary.
And, and again, even if you're on prescription drugs, whether from a surgery or not, it tells you don't operate heavy machinery. I think your car, especially a Cadillac SUV, is heavy machinery. I mean,
but I think so. I think it's hard to like, especially when it comes to like, depending on, again, it's depending on, I don't want to make speculations because they did bring the Tiger in. I think that we'll probably know at some point later tonight. I know he had some serious leg injuries. So it's more of like, I hope the man can keep his legs. But like sometimes when you take those really hard like pain pills and stuff like that, you don't really know what's going to happen. Like, yeah, it says don't operate heavy machinery, but you just might be out of it, like high out of your mind on whatever you just took and don't know exactly what you're doing, you know?
All right. My computer just came back on. I'm going to switch over.
Okay. So the other thing is too, let's talk about that and we'll hit back in with Hank, obviously, as he is the owner and president of the Green Jackets. So he you know, manages football teams and athletes. Tom, what do you think their take is? Let's say, obviously, Woods is one of the elite of the elite. He's the Jordan. He's, as we joke, the Spider-Man of golf, but he's well known.
Yeah.
Wouldn't you think that your manager or your people around you would help dictate, hey, like Tiger, let's not get in the car. Let's not do that. You have handlers. You have that. But again, I'm not one of those. I don't know how that works where Tiger's like, you know what? You can go to hell. I'm going to do what I want to do at the same time.
Exactly. He's a grown man. It's not like, you know, this isn't like Tiger Woods isn't like Britney Spears where he has somebody else running his life for him. Like, yeah, I know you got handlers, you got managers, you got people around you and stuff like that, but you're still a grown man, a independent individual who could do, you know, essentially whatever he wants. Tiger's loaded, you know, like who's going to tell Tiger Woods no? Like who's going to just tell Tiger Woods no? Like not many people, you know? So just like we have in the comments, it is a really good thing that this isn't another Kobe Bryant situation. You know, like I hope this man I hope it's not like serious leg injuries where they got to like cut him off or nothing. Cause you know, they said that on the radio on the way home today. But it's just genuinely thankful that it's not another Kobe situation. Cause that's what Tiger Woods is like. I grew up with Tiger Woods. Like Tiger Woods is one of those people that's like, he transcends golf and like transcends sports. You know, he's one of those people that is almost like he's like a living legend almost, you know? So it's a really, really fortunate thing that the man's alive.
And what is different than most other athletes that have a bad past? I mean, obviously we knew about the cheating, the infidelity, whatever, and the steroid use was a speculation. Tiger wasn't really in the, almost like Jordan, where Jordan was not in the tabloids throughout almost his entire career until towards the end. And even still, he wasn't majorly in tabloids and he had a gambling issue and it was gone. And it's not like they paid somebody off. He's like, this is my life. This is what I'm doing. Tiger's that same type of athlete where, yep, okay, you can put it in the tabloids. He doesn't say much. He does not rebuttal. He does not make a lot of comments. He just lets that shit just fly off. And all of a sudden, you know, they talk about it for a few months and then it disappears. Where other athletes are just going to like stoking the fire and just keep going with it and making TMZ or any other tabloid just keep firing, putting fuel to the fire. And Tiger's been really quiet about that. And I think that's something that needs to be said about a lot of the athletes. And nice segue of someone that we're going to be talking about in the next segment.
But he's in the limelight, but still he wants to live a normal. He does everything that a normal person does. You know, everybody goes to Vegas. There's a reason Vegas is Vegas. Everybody flies to Vegas to gamble.
Right.
So he's not doing anything different. He's doing it legally.
And I think that's another issue too, that we put these athletes on, any athlete, like crap. It's Tom Brady who got shit faced, and everybody's like, "Yeah, how's your boy now?" That man deserves to be shit faced for 5 freaking days in a row. And that's what bothers me, that you put him on a pedestal and he can't do anything. He did nothing wrong. He didn't drink and drive. He didn't kill anybody. He didn't hurt anybody. But all of a sudden you put them up there. The man can't have a few beers and some tequila and enjoy himself, and you got to bash him. Same thing with Tiger. Same thing with Michael Jordan. You know, crap, we could go all the way back to Bill Clinton. I mean, everybody's human at this point about things. We all
people
make
hate greatness. People hate greatness and will use any excuse to try and tear somebody down from it, you know? So like,
right.
That's just the way it is. You know, you could be the greatest at your sport. Somebody's going to try to find a flaw in what you're doing just so they can justify, all right, I'm at least better than that person.
Right.
But on the same note, as a superstar athlete, though, you do have to have some limitations and understand where you can push the envelope and where you can't.
Yeah.
You know, Tom Brady didn't do anything wrong by throwing, you know, he was having fun. They were at a party. It's like, you know, they were being crazy. And there's nothing wrong with that.
He can't be human. I mean, give me a break. I mean, so the other things, there was comments coming out going, well, that's not a great role model for my kid. And I'm like, wait the F up. Wait a minute. The man is human. He's not condoning minor drinking. He's not condoning drinking and driving. So because the man is at a party and got drunk, now he's not a role model for fucking kids.
He's not there saying, hey, you too can throw your Super Bowl trophy from one boat to another if you're a superstar, but you got to be as good as me.
That man was able to keep himself. That man was able to keep himself healthy enough to win a Super Bowl at 42 years old, get 7 rings, and be like one of the wealthiest people in all of pro sports. Like when I have kids, if I want my kid to be like anybody, it's most certain Tom Brady's on the list. Like anybody who says that because he got drunk after a Super Bowl parade is a lunatic.
I agree with you.
And you know, and I
put these people on. Go ahead.
So I read a lot. I read like a lot of NFL books and things like that. So I've read up on a lot of NFL stuff. So, you know, back in the 60s and 70s, it was normal to go and have, you know, there's stories where they had carts going down the airline or in the airplane that they were giving these guys pain medication. Because that was the norm.
Half the time he was drunk.
No, I know that, but I'm saying to you that they get drunk and they have these wild parties and stuff like that. And that was stuff that was just normal back then. And it's still, you know, it has some normalcy to it. It's just, you're celebrating. He was celebrating, you know, and the thing is like you said, they put him up there and the greatness and everything else, and everybody wants to knock it down.
How stressful do you think that would be as a person? If somebody put either any one of us on the pedestal like that, how stressful would that be? I mean, I think that's even maybe more stressful than being a celebrity, because the celebrity is not really a role model per se. They're actors, and we kind of, you know, stereotypical. We know they got shit going on in their lives, but having an athlete is like a superhero. You put them up on a pedestal, and that, for me, I would feel so stressed that I'm like, I don't want to go out. I want to be able to hang out at my local bar and have some wings and some drinks with my friends, but I can't because the paparazzi's there or somebody's going to take a picture of me. That's got to be really stressful. And I don't think people understand that other side of that. It's not just the field. I think being on the field or on the court is easier for some of them than being off the court. What do you guys think?
No, I agree with you. I think I would assume that like actually playing the sport at sometimes is your getaway almost. I know it's a job, and I'm assuming that the feel of playing the sport is different once it becomes a profession, because, you know, everybody has their feelings about their jobs, but I'd imagine that'd be the escape, because you're right. Like, especially nowadays with social media where everybody just has a phone and can take a picture of something. If you're out and about and you're out like in the world, like anywhere, you could be literally caught doing something anywhere. And cause it's not like, it's not like the paparazzi back in the day. Like literally every single person in the world is the paparazzi. You know?
Everybody's got a camera now.
Yeah. Agreed. I totally agree. But anyway, let's hope Tiger Woods a speedy recovery.
Yes, sir.
And we'll keep you up to date on that as well. Going right into people talking and being put on a pedestal. And some athletes may be trying to be quiet. Cam Newton not ready to retire after one season with the Patriots. There aren't 32 guys better than me. You gotta give. All I gotta say is you gotta give Cam some props. I mean, he's the guy off the field that when nobody really wanted him. We talked about this before. Belichick likes to take the misfit toys and fix them and make them into something. I think that's something that Belichick's always been good at. Not that Brady was a misfit toy, but again, he wasn't even what round? He wasn't even like the first 5 draft round pick when he got picked. So I understand where Belichick's going with this. And we talked a little bit about, do we think Newton's going to stay for another season? Is Belichick going to give him a chance? Or should he just kind of call it quits? Cam Newton's time in New England may be up, but the veteran quarterback isn't ready for retirement just yet. Newton spoke highly of his abilities during an appearance on the I Am Athlete podcast on Monday, saying he can't retire after last season's performance with the Patriots. He pretty much said, hell no, I can't go out like that. I hear of all the talk. My pride won't allow me to do it. There aren't 32 guys better than me. Newton explained that after missing the Patriots' 4-week matchup against the Denver Broncos because of his bout with COVID-19. He struggled to get back into the swing of things, obviously, after that. I don't think, honestly, and this is not part of the article, this, for me personally, and we'll see what you Snacks and Tom think, I don't think he was ever 100% afterwards. I think they just threw him right back in. Not that he didn't choose to not go right back in, but that's a lot of stress. And, again, we don't know how COVID affects everybody. And, again, it's not an excuse. I just feel personally he was not back to 100%.
Fair.
Yeah. He continued, I'm lost. I'm thinking too much. The offense kept going, and I was stopped and stagnant for 2 weeks. By the time I got back, it was new terminology. I wasn't trying to learn a system from what it was I was learning. Let's be honest, a 20-year system to try to learn a 20-year system in 2 months. Newton told 2,657 passing yards for just 8 touchdowns and 10 interceptions this past season. He also ran for 592 yards and 12 touchdowns, but struggled to get to the playoffs as the Patriots finished 7-9. He's expected to be a free agent in March, but the former league MVP expressed his interest in staying in New England. He said, yes, hell yes. He said, I want to stay here. I'm getting tired of changing. I'm at the point in my career where I know way more than I knew last year. Newton said last month that he was too early to say if he would accept a backup role, despite not wanting one, but there's no point in telling what more time in Belichick's system could do for him. Honestly, it's too early to tell. That's honestly all I can say. As he stated, I don't think I have starting talent. Absolutely. Do I think that things that I've done were devalued? Not the team's perspective, probably the media's perspective. Absolutely. Now, when he got signed, I had very high hopes for him. I also felt that the Patriots would make it to the playoffs, and Tampa Bay did not. Obviously, that did not happen. Obviously, I feel like I'm giving him a crutch and saying COVID is the excuse, but I think there's a lot of factors. I think we've all tipped on to the fact that there was no real preseason, there was no practicing, and again, learning something in 2 months, a 20-year system. But at the same time, that system itself, and tell me if I'm wrong, the both of you, that system had to adjust from a man who couldn't run out of a pocket or run away from his own shadow. So that system had to change as well for Cam, as well as Cam learning the offensive line. What's your take on this first, Hank? And then we'll get right to Tom.
I think you're going to see a lot of change if they keep him for one more year. I think that you're going to see a big change in the Patriots.
What are the odds? What do you think the odds are that they will keep him?
I think they'll become a playoff contender. I mean, they could go far.
Do you think they'll keep him?
Now
do you think they'll keep him?
It's a 50-50 shot.
Or do you think they're going to let him go?
I mean, I think that if they do, then they're gonna change the style of the offense a little bit. But he's going to have a better grasp of what the offenses that they're running now that they've been running, and add to that. So, I mean, and the other thing is that now you basically got the terrible 3 back together. You got Matt Patricia back there as their defensive coordinator.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah. Tom, what's your take on this?
Well, I'm trying to think about if I'd see him back, and I think he's going to be back with the Pats right now, at least, just unless they trade for somebody. I don't know. Like Cam really didn't have he had the deck stacked against him for the most part. He was coming off of an injury. He didn't have that much time he didn't have that much time because there was no traditional preseason. And let's not forget, the best quarterback in the history of football, Tom Brady, was on this team last year and could barely do anything because there was no talent around him. There's no talent on that team. That team is literally Cam Newton and the rest are bums. And then let's just mention, basically half the good players on the defense decided they were going to opt out this past season. So like Cam really didn't have a leg to stand on, So I absolutely think like, unless you can trade for somebody or you can maybe like trade up in the draft and get like one of these starting quarterbacks, you got to bring Cam back. And even then, I'm not even convinced that one of these guys out of the draft, not named Trevor Lawrence, is going to be as good or even better than Cam Newton is, Like, again, the man had nothing, and he's right though. There aren't 32 quarterbacks better than Cam Newton. Like you could easily, if he doesn't go back to the Pats, he can most definitely find a home on somewhere else. Maybe the Bears, the Niners, because they don't really like Jimmy G. I mean,
the Jets need help.
The Jets. I don't think the Jets would do that. But I mean, the Washington football team, like who's their quarterback? Alex Smith on one leg or Kyle Allen? There's plenty of places for Cam to go. He could absolutely be a starter somewhere.
One of our comments that says he'll never be a starter. Do you feel that he's worthy of being a starter?
I mean, I think. Yeah, absolutely. Mitchell Trubisky's a quarterback in Chicago. Drew Lock is a quarterback in Denver. Those guys are terrible. Like if he's an upgrade, upgrades anybody.
I think Al is really pushing this, so we're going to stay on this a little bit more. Come on, guys. Cam had a terrible season. He did, but again, he had no weapons. How I rate this, especially what Tom just said. He is the Aaron Rodgers of the Patriots. They did not give him the weapons he needed to perform though as well as he could have. Now, obviously, there's other things that are going on as well. Obviously, COVID. I don't care what you say. I'm not making excuses, but COVID, we don't know how it affected him. Again, I'm reiterating the same thing. He did not get the practice time he needed. He did not gel with the team in 2 months. How do you gel with? I guess you could say, well, Tom Brady could do it. Okay. Well, Tom Brady is, again, we just talked about one of the elite. Maybe he could. We're not saying Cam is as good as Tom Brady, but we're not saying Cam is not a starter. I really think with the right element, any quarterback worth their grain of salt, if they have good weapons behind them, they're going to be amazing. You can't.
But Tampa went and got the weapons. Tampa went and got the weapons that Tom wanted.
Yeah.
Tom had, you know for a fact that Brady had something to do with the people that they brought in.
Well, they already had
right.
They already had, like, Tampa already, like, Tom Brady knew what he was doing when he went to Tampa, because he went to Tampa knowing, okay, they have Chris Godwin, they have Mike Evans, they have OJ Howard, they have Cameron Brate. I'm going to bring Gronk with me. Like, he knew when he was going to Tampa, even before they brought anybody else in, that he was good. Like, he knew that he was going to have the weapons there. He knew that he was just leaving a bare cupboard. He was leaving just empty shelves when he left left the Patriots.
So do you think, and I think we speculated on this too, Tom, that we think that Tom already was orchestrating this before the news hit. Like, he knew he was going to get Gronk. Like, I guarantee you, he talked about Gronk and I said, if I get it, you're coming. And with somebody like Tom Brady, of course, people are going to listen. The coach is going to listen. The owner is going to listen. If I'm coming to this team, obviously he wasn't even paid the greatest either. I mean, he wasn't even I think he's not even in the top 5 being paid. Actually, I think he was number 7 when we did our poll. He got the team he needed, the things he needed to win. Cam is not that he's not good enough. He's young. He's not experienced enough, and he doesn't have enough background to be pulling in that kind of thing, going, hey, I'll take the $7.5 million for a 1-year contract. But you know what? I want this guy, and this guy. Nobody's going to listen to Cam. And you got to pay your dues. You got to pay your dues.
Yeah. I know Alice is saying that the Pats, if the Pats bring Cam back and they can get him something, like if they can get him like maybe an outside deep threat or end of running, like they probably need a running back too. Like they need something. They need something more than N'Keal Harry, because N'Keal Harry is just, as a number 1 receiver, garbage. Like, not good. Like he's not the guy that's gonna get you some wins. Maybe go get Kenny Golladay. Maybe if you have the money, go get Chris Godwin, because Chris Godwin, who's one of the leading receivers in the league off Tampa, is going to be fresh off a Super Bowl into free agency. So go get him. Like, if you put people around Cam, because you know what, he's not young. Like, he's not young. He's been in the league for a little while. The dude's a little beat up. He took a lot of hits. I don't know if he's definitely the He's not the MVP Cam Newton that he was a few years ago, but he's definitely somebody that could take you into a Super Bowl. And I would also like to caution Al, you got to be careful with the Finns because like they have no idea who their quarterback's going to be. They don't even know if they like Tua. And Fitzmagic isn't winning anything. So
Al, we'll come visit when the season starts and Cam is back at the Patriots and then see what happens. Again, everything's up in the air. Again, I feel this way, like everybody the MVP goes to the quarterback. All right. And the offensive line doesn't get a lot of credit. The defensive line doesn't get a lot of credit. Unlike basketball, one man can make a difference. Jordan proved that. Larry Bird proved that. But you can't do that in football. No matter how good a quarterback is, you need the team. And Cam just did not have the right weapons around him. Do I think if he had better weapons with him, would he make it to the playoffs? Possibly. I don't know. I'm not going to sit here and speculate on that. But again, there was so many other factors here. On top of the man can run. He can get out of the pocket. He can throw a cannon when he has to. I think he should deserve another chance with the Patriots. Again, we're not speaking for Belichick, but he likes the misfit toys, and Cam is a misfit toy. If he can make him better, and Cam listens to him, then he's got at least another season. If I was Cam, I'd say give me a 2-year contract. After that, I'm out. Not this 5-10-year contract. Give me 2 years. Let me prove myself. And as a business, football's a business. As a business, you want to take that chance. It's like an entrepreneur being an investor. How much are you willing to lose, but how much more are you willing to gain and say, you know what, this was really a shitty year. This was really screwed up. Let's invest in him. It's worth one more season with him. It's worth one more. And that's business. That entrepreneur is going to make that move, making a gamble on a product. And you know what? Let's give it one more year. I think that's the way it should be looked at.
It's going to come down to what Josh Daniels wants to do. Sure. Belichick's going to listen to Josh Daniels, and and having Matt Patricia back, that they, like I said, that's a dangerous coaching staff. And if they go and get him the weapons that they see that he needs, then they're going to get it. They're going to go after a running back for sure. I know that. And free agency, once free agency hits, they're gonna pick people in there. They're going to bring in some superstars. Like you said, Godwin's a free agent. Who knows? Right. They might go get him. They might have saw what they wanted to do and bring him in there if they got the money. So, they've freed up salary money with Brady leaving. So now they've got a whole fresh start to be able to go and do that.
Oh, I totally agree. Al is really on this. I'll take Cam over Tua.
Yeah, what did Tua show? What did Tua show other than the fact that they had to basically replace him with Ryan Fitzpatrick on drives during the season that makes you believe that he's the starting quarterback of the future of the Dolphins? The Dolphins are a good team. The Dolphins have a really good defense. They have they have good offensive weapons. It's just they're a maybe in the quarterback position, because Tua was supposed to be this lethal, super accurate quarterback with a good arm. And he really wasn't that when he made it into the onto the NFL stage, he wasn't overly impressive, I don't know, he was your generic starter. He wasn't a superstar. But he was also a rookie, but he was also a rookie. It was his first year in the league. You can't expect all rookie quarterbacks to come in and just light up the league and be amazing. There are some growing pains that you kind of have to deal with, but I'm not also ready to say that if Cam Newton went to the Pats, that the Pats went back to the Pats, that they're just automatically going to be worse than they were last year. If they bring back Cam and can surround him with some talent, some real talent, no, you're going to have the AFC East is going to be competitive. That's just the way it is. The Bills aren't going to run away with it.
I agree. Totally agree. All right, let's move on to the ice. I'm sure we don't want to keep. We could keep talking about Cam, but I think we've cammed it out. Now I don't know how to pronounce this hockey player's name. Panarin? Is it Panarin?
Yep.
Yeah. Artemin Tammy Panarin denies Russian report, takes time away from Rangers. New York Rangers star Panarin is taking a leave of absence from the team after a Russian tabloid printed allegations from a former coach that he attacked a woman in Lavada almost a decade ago. Lavia. Isn't that where Dr. Doom is? This whole thing is so pop culture tied in. This is perfect. This is awesome. Andrei Nazarov, a former NHL enforcer who coached Panarin in the Continental Hockey League, told Russian tabloid I'm not going to pronounce that tabloid at all. In a story published Saturday, that parent attacked 18-year-old Latvian woman in a hotel bar in the Latvian capital of Riga, following a game in December 2011. Nazarov told the tabloid that Panarin knocked the woman to the floor with several powerful blows. He also added that he heard that the Latvian authorities looked into the incident, but that no action was taken after authoritative locals negotiated with the police not to pursue the case, allegedly after money changed hands. That doesn't sound. That actually does not sound too far-fetched. I never said he was motivated to speak about the alleged incident because he disagreed with Panarin's repeated criticism of the Russian government. Panarin played for Nazarov with Chekhov from 2010 to 2012. Panarin has been a vocal critic of Russian President Vladimir Putin, and last month posted his support on social media for opposition leader Alexei Navalny. I'm really, Tom, you're going to pick out these articles that just want to screw with my.
Well, I mean, like it was a big deal.
I know, I'm screwing with you. Panarin has played in the NHL since 2015 and was a finalist for the league's MVP award last season. He won the Calder Trophy as a Rookie of the Year in 2016 with Chicago, where he played 2 seasons, went to Columbus for 2 more, and then signed an $81.5 million 7-year contract with New York in 2019. It's got to be one of the highest paid hockey players out there to date. Rangers teammate Ryan Strome praised Brian as a person and role model for him and other young players. Now, my question is, before we get your guys' take, what is this crap that people seem to like to take things from 10, 15 years ago and just bring to the surface and just kind of destroy everybody? I mean, it wasn't even that. Who's the new co-host or the new host for Jeopardy, who is one of the contestants? Now he can't do it because he made a stupid comment 15, 20 years ago, and now they're bashing him for it. Things like that, let it go. I mean, I don't know. My opinion might be different. Hank, what do you think?
I don't know. It's the times. It's just the way that things go now, and everybody's been doing it, and I don't see an end to it until somebody stops it. But I don't see that happening.
It's crazy because it looks like again, we don't this is all alleged. We don't really know exactly what happened. We don't know the validity of all of this, but like Al said, the Rangers are backing him because it looks like it's all just like a political hit job because Panarin is so outspoken against Vladimir Putin. And I know that there's that like election thing that's happening in Russia where they're trying to have somebody replace Putin or something like that, and Panarin is very actively saying that he's not a fan of Putin. So like, they're just apparently putting out this story to hurt his credibility and hurt him as an athlete and as a star in New York. And now he's just taking time off because I believe if I heard right, when I was hearing about the story on the radio a few days ago, he still has family in Russia. So I'd imagine it's a scary time. It's a scary time to have somebody, being so actively against the leader of Russia and still having family there. Like that family their lives could be in danger,
Totally. I totally understand that. And this kind of goes again, there's this whole episode's kind of weaved in with pop culture. The actress from The Mandalorian, she has vocally stated things that she said in on her political stance, right or wrong, got her forced off the Disney show. So I guess again, celebrities, athletes, you have a voice, you have a platform. When does it become to the point where now you need to be quiet and it could possibly ruin your career? Now, this isn't going to ruin the actress's career per se. It could hurt her quite a bit for a while. Will this hurt him? Probably not, but we don't know. I mean, obviously the Rangers are behind him. They know the kind of character he is. But, I see tweets about the actress and other people saying, you keep your comments to yourself. You should keep your mouth shut. You shouldn't do that to keep your job.
But they're human beings.
I understand. When does it come time to be like, all right, I can't voice my opinion on social media. I can tell a few friends because I could lose my job or I could lose the spot on the team. This is what it's come down to now. As Hank said, the times have changed so much that there's no necessarily freedom of speech and there's no, well, that's fine. That's his opinion. No, it's like, oh, really? Now we're going to put a petition out and we're going to sign it and have thousands and thousands of people make Disney make an actress get off a show. Whether you like her opinion or not, that's bullshit.
The Twitter mob is aggressive and ruthless. They do not care who you are, what you're doing, or how you do it. Like if they don't like you and they come at you, they will tear you down. But this case is even scarier because it's that mentality, but with the Russian government. Like they're just straight up basically, trying to drag this dude down. And then obviously, again, you have to worry about violence being taken against his family. I believe this dude running against Vladimir Putin is in prison right now and was poisoned because this is what he's doing. Like, this is the type of people that they're dealing with. So, I mean, like, you got to hope that Artemi Panarin is okay and like his family's okay. And you got to hope that these are all just false allegations. Let's just make that abundantly clear, because nobody should be beating up an 18-year-old.
No, definitely not.
Nobody should be beating up any women. That's anybody. Nobody should be getting violent with anybody.
Unless you're Florida man, because then that just happens on a daily basis.
Yeah.
I think the whole thing, and yes, and we really try to stay away from politics, but as we've seen, we really try to stay with, we do talk a lot about COVID as well, but we're seeing that, especially with Russia in the past, the ex-president, the past president, there was a lot going on with Russia. We've always been intertwined with Russia somehow. And this coming out, there's something going on. There's an ends to the means to this. Somebody's trying to do something to get something out of something. And whether it's fabricated, let's hope it is. And we'll report more on this. When the thing what impresses me is Disney could not stand up behind the actress's name. The actress that played on The Mandalorian, they bounced her. Whether or not you like her opinion or not, I wasn't really in my favor. But again, you have a voice, and if you feel that you want to do that, then that's up to you, and I respect that. I don't have to like it to respect it. The Rangers are like, no, they're putting the sticks down, and they're like, no, we're sticking by our man, and this is what we're gonna do, and let's hope it doesn't backfire on them. But I think that's, as Al said, it's integrity, obviously personally, and also team-wise. They are standing behind this guy. They've seen what he's done, that they're going to stand behind the team. How many teams do you think would do that? That's the thing, too. I mean, that's huge on my part. I think that's very impressive, and that shows a lot of credibility for the Rangers.
I think also what helps this is that this is a story coming out of Russia, and you can kind of connect the dots that this might be like a political hit piece, and that it's, the coach that's saying all this has a track record of kind of being a loose cannon. If this were to be a story that came out like in the States, we'd be having a very different conversation right now. We would be definitely be having this doesn't seem fabricated, whether if it was or wasn't, we wouldn't be having a conversation if this story is being fabricated. Whether he did or he didn't, it would be alleged, and he would either be suspended or cut. That's what would happen.
Unless he was in the NFL and then it gets shoved under the carpet for 6 months so you could play the season.
And then a video gets leaked, and then a video in an elevator gets leaked, and then they suspend him.
Yeah, exactly.
Or a hotel hallway.
Yeah, exactly. We're going into the hour right now, and we're not going to take another break because we're going to finalize the show with Today in Sports History. And Today's in Sports History is brought to you by The Shirt Factory. Visit shirtfactorygf.com. They have a lot of great shops and events, and coming up this March is going to be this is a new event for them, which I'm excited for. It's called the 2021 Winter Meltdown Spicy Food Day, Saturday, March 20th at 10 a.m. Now, admission is free. They will have think of it as the Food Truck Corral. If you're not familiar with that, they do the Thursday nights, which will be starting in May of 2021. One of the largest food truck corrals in upstate New York, where there's many food trucks and vendors out in the parking lots. Well, they're going to kind of move everybody inside and offer us some spicy food. What better time in March to heat things up? As we get longer, there's not been a lot of details yet of who the vendors are yet. We're still getting details, and you'll hear it first, pretty much probably from us and on their social media page when they give us the details. But again, I think it's a nice start to the season. There will be doing social distancing. There will be proper procedures and protocols. Tables will be set apart. You have to wear masks unless you're eating sitting down. So if you need more questions on how that's going to work, you can contact them. And like I said, go visit shirtfactorygf.com for all that, for more info and contact information. Take it away. And today in sports history, Mr. Tom Greer.
Okay, so today in sports history, in 1934, Casey Stengel becomes the manager of the Brooklyn Dodgers. Now, the reason that is a big deal is because he was the manager of the Yankees in 49 and from 49 and 60, but he's also the first manager of the New York Mets ever. So that's a huge, pretty big deal.
Well, that's cool.
1938, Joe Louis retains his world heavyweight boxing title by knocking out Nathan Mann in round 3 at Madison Square Garden. 1968, Wilt Chamberlain becomes the first NBAer to score 25,000 points. 1985, goaltender Patrick Waugh, he debuts today, and he won a couple Stanley Cups for the Montreal Canadiens, Colorado Avalanche. He's one of the greatest goalies to ever step foot between the pipes, and he kind of developed or helped make famous the butterfly stance, which is a very common stance used by goalies nowadays. And finally, 2019, Lionel Messi scores his 50th hat trick of his career as Barcelona beats Sevilla 4-2. Obviously, we all know Lionel Messi is probably one of the greatest, if not the greatest, soccer player going right now. And that is today in sports history.
Very nice, very nice. Wilt the Stilt.
Wilt the Stilt.
Wilt the Stilt. Isn't he the one that said he slept with the most women too?
I believe so. I believe
that
is Wilt Chamberlain. Yep.
I think Gene Simmons tried to call him out on that. I'm not sure if that's something to be proud of, that he thinks he slept with more women than Wilt the Stilt. Nah, I don't know how you would prove that, but
I don't know, but I'll take his word for it.
Yeah, who's going to argue with Will?
There's probably something he doesn't even remember. He can't. Gene Simmons probably can't even give you an accurate number.
No, he can't. He probably not with all the groupies. But they were drug free. Supposedly they were drug free. There was not sex, drug. It was just sex and rock and roll. There was no drugs involved. At least with Gene there wasn't, supposedly. But anyway, it is the Tuesday night edition of Today with DW. Hope you guys are having a great start to the week. More than even you, Herb. 25,000. What are you trying to say, Al? Definitely not even. I'm not even on a cliff noted version for sleeping with him. What are you talking about? Jesus, I don't even want that credit. Oh my God.
Yeah,
that is definitely not something that I want.
That is a big number.
Yeah, I don't even want anything like that on my headstone.
Slept with 25,000 women.
Yeah, rest in peace. No shit.
Wow. This is probably what killed him.
So before we go, I want to thank our other sponsors as well for the Today with DW show. It is obviously Body Armor as well. drinkbodyarmor.com. Visit the website for a location near you. And as always, Chase Sports Complex. Now, Hank, tell us some of the. I know you guys have been. We haven't talked much in the last couple of weeks because you've been busy. I think the major time I talked to you is when you're here on the show. But I know in the last couple of weeks, you guys have really been. You've been busting ass and doing some great things over there and expanding it. So let everybody know what you guys are doing now. What you had originally and what you're now expanding to.
So we basically we created a place called the MVP Center, which is part of Chase Sports. And we put in 2 batting cages and a volleyball court. So we're actually experimenting. This Sunday, we've got 12 volleyball players that are going to come in, and they're going to use it and test out the court and see how it goes. And then what we're going to do is we're going to start putting together like adult leagues and other leagues for different age groups to come in and play volleyball. And then we're looking at actually some more volleyball courts right now. We're looking at the sport courts because we want to add to it. So if that goes off.
Now you guys are also doing. Go ahead. So you guys are also doing something cool with VR for baseball, right? Or softball?
Yeah, we actually got the Oculus, and they have it's called Win, and we're using that. We're just got the internet all wired in and everything up there. So we're going to start working on that where they can actually come in and do a virtual softball. So
that is pretty cool.
I haven't really seen it.
We got to get you up here. We got to get you up here for that, Tom.
I've seen those VR like baseball trainers, and they look so freaking cool.
That's pretty much what it is. It's basically you'll swing. It's got an attachment that goes on your bat. It has an actual pitcher. They virtually pitch it to you, and then you swing the bat and you hit the ball, and it tells you your velocity and on how many feet it went and things like that. I haven't seen it per se. I've seen the girls use it when we were in Chase, but now that we've got the internet down at the MVP Center, we'll have a TV screen where you'll be able to see everything right there as they're doing it.
That's a nice added plus for a business or a company to do that, because if the batting cages are full, you can still practice, you can still train. And over in Chase Sports in the original building, you have 2 batting cages plus it's a full soccer field, correct?
Well, we have 3 batting cages, and we have it's basically almost a little bit shorter than a football field, and it's 87 feet wide. So we do have soccer leagues in there, softball practice, baseball practice. We used to do tournaments. We're hopefully, after COVID and things start to lighten up next year, we'll go back to doing a few tournaments for the younger kids, because it's not big enough for, like 16-year-olds and up. But the 14, 12, and 10, and the 8s, you'll have T-ball leagues and things like that in there. And then we'll bring back, youth flag football and adult flag football. So we'll have all kinds of stuff in there.
Now, what we were talking about, the local sports scene, that's obviously has definitely affected Chase Sports, but you guys have pretty much been kind of above the way. You've weathered it very well with the things that you're providing and what you guys are doing. Obviously, everything is COVID policy and procedures are in play. Masks are being worn. But you guys have definitely weathered the storm in a way by providing other avenues and other things to do. Where, I mean, I think it's awesome. And if nobody's unfamiliar, we're like one of the only ones in the area for how many miles away is the next facility like that. Obviously, there was a dome, and it's sad to see what happened with them in the beginning of the season. But where's the next facility that would provide these kind of things for kids?
There's one down in Latham, so that's about 40 minutes away. They've got Aframs down there, so they do stuff down there too as well. And there's a couple other places that do it. It's starting to become more popular now up here because the call for it is there. So people, we're full. I mean, we're at 95% capacity right now, and then with everything going on with high school sports, the month of March we're booked solid till at least 10:30 at night. So it's being able to provide a safe environment for the kids and the athletes to come in with their coaches and practice and play and do all that stuff. And yes, the procedures that we have are far above what the CDC is asking or the Department of Health asking, because that's our business. We know the things that come in. So we don't have we have no spectators in there. We have just basically the coaches and the athletes coming into practice. There's softball leagues that come in. They'll bring 4 or 5 guys at a time. So we have to limit it. We used to have them coming in at 6 at a time, and they were in the cage and they were all taking their shots and they're hitting it. And I'll tell you what, that's the big thing. So, everybody wants to stay active. So in order to do that, that's what we do. We even have guys that come in on Wednesdays and they fly their remote control planes. So
nice.
Helicopters. I actually went and bought a helicopter so I could play with them every once in a while.
Nice. If you need more information or contact, you probably would be talking to Hank, but you can go over to chasesportscomplex.com for their hours of operation and all the things they have going on there. Also, once everything lightens up, they also you can cater a party there. There's event spaces there. You can do birthday parties there. They do a lot of stuff there. So check out chasesportscomplex.com for all your athletic needs. Now, Tom, do you guys have anything like that near you? Do you have an indoor something like that by you?
We do. I just can't remember. I honestly can't remember the name of the place at the moment. And I mean, we have a couple indoor batting cages nearby. There's plenty of places you can go out and play some sports. I honestly just don't know which ones are fully open, to stuff like that currently. But I know there's a couple.
Right. Because I think it was just released in New York State that March 13th, I believe, indoor amusement parks and whatnot can open up. I think it's either 50% or 75% capacity at this point. So hopefully that'll help everybody that's doing that. Chase Sports does not go under that mainframe. They're not that type of business because it's not amusement. There's sports, and the size of the facility is much bigger than that.
We fall under a gym category.
Gotcha. And you have a gym in there as well, which is another great business with inside Chase Sports as well. Outcast Athletics, check them out as well. Everybody, thank you so much for joining us on this weird episode. It's the WandaVision of Today with DW, because every day this week we're going to do. We should have done a sitcom. We should have done a sitcom parody sports show. That would have been fun.
That would have been awesome.
That would have been cool.
That would have been awesome.
We'll have to think about that on the road. But I'm officially calling this the WandaVision of Today with DW, because every episode, every show this week is going to have a little bit of a pop culture in the beginning of it. Tomorrow night, we have a special guest, Rob Doe, good friend of mine, who is helping me out. He's one of the creators of the Food Town segment. He helped me come up with the name, and he is actually going to be on for the segment. He's a huge pop culture guy as well. So we're going to be talking pop culture. We're going to be taking a deep dive into Food Town. We're going to be pairing up. Now, I call it the trashy class. We are going to pair up some of the best wines in the world with some of the worst fast food you ever had, just to kind of bring the fast food up there. So it's some tacos with some Pinot Noir, some Taco Bells. We'll do some Chick-fil-A. It'll be fun. We're going to have fun with that. And like I said, Wednesday, we're going to be doing another pop culture segment. And Friday, since Lewis isn't here again, slacker, I'll have to figure it out. I have no guest yet. We'll talk with Snacks. Maybe I can get Snacks on to do a Friday if he's available. Maybe I should call Zambo. Maybe we could get Zambo on the pop culture edition. And
you give it a try.
Good old Zambo. I know he wasn't feeling too well this past week, so we'll let him go. Any last words, gentlemen, before we sign off this evening?
When does baseball start again?
37 more days. You read my mind, Hank. That's what I was going to say.
You know what I should do? Because if I know the both of you have listened to it before, but in the more you know, I should put the start of baseball under the national holidays and count it down. So it's 37 more days. So tomorrow, it's a national holiday.
That's how I start my lunch break takes. My lunch break takes, I start everyone with this, how many days until baseball season starts now?
So it's not really a national holiday. Last week was Mr. Tom Greer Day. That is a national holiday, and that is the start of training season, the day before spring training. So, but anyway, I should add that. I will add opening day for the more you know on every episode. So we're going to change it up a little bit. So it's part of the national holidays because Mr. Greer said it. So
best day of the year.
Are you sure?
Positive, 100% positive. It's springtime. Summer's almost here, and baseball's starting. Man, you could already smell the hot dogs and barbecues.
You have a girlfriend now. You better be careful which day is the best day of the year. I'm just saying. Anyway, anyway, that's for you, Kimmy. That's for you, the first lady of the Grindhouse Radio. That's for you. Check them out also at grindhouseradio.com. All right, gentlemen, everybody, thank you so much for joining us on the Today with DW Sports Edition, and I'll see you tomorrow.
This has been an Earplug Podcast presentation. Found on earplugpodcast.com, iTunes, SoundCloud, and wherever your favorite podcasts are found.